Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mayanthi, I'm a qualified counsellor and I make videos on how I became a counsellor and what you might want to know if you're looking to become a counsellor as well. So if you're thinking about studying psychology or counselling and you're wondering what each of these professions earn, keep watching. I just want to premise this video with when you're a psychologist or a counsellor in this field, it's generally not about the money. Obviously, money is important because that's how we live and get on with our day-to-day lives. But usually you get into this field because you're passionate about it. But if you're just wondering which profession earns more so you know which direction may be better for you and better for your life, then keep watching. So the short answer is psychologists will generally earn more. But there are some other things to consider if you're thinking about becoming a psychologist or counsellor. So I'll just go through what it takes to become a psychologist. So generally it would require around 6 years or more of study. You have to do the bachelor's in psychology and then an honours year and a master's. It will also include some research and also placement or like an internship. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about going down the psychology route. Also, you may be able to earn more if you're doing assessments and diagnosing people with mental health conditions, because those assessments can take quite a lot of hours and then you also have to write up a report. So those assessments cost quite a bit to get. And, you know, so many people are getting diagnosed with ADHD these days. And so many people are wanting those assessments, so there's quite high demand for it, which means you're going to be getting paid more for it if you can do those assessments as a psychologist. So also something to note is that if you study psychology and if you become a clinical psychologist, you're guaranteed a job once you finish your studies, so you won't necessarily need to be worrying about if you're going to get a job or not once you finished your studies. As a psychologist, you can also choose to mainly do more of counselling work, so therapeutic intervention type stuff. So you're not just having to do the assessments and diagnosing or treating quite complex mental health conditions. You can also do kind of more general counselling work. So as a psychologist, you have that flexibility to choose which kind of direction you want to go through. So in comparison to a psychologist, if you're looking to become a counsellor, it can be a little bit of an easier path to get there. So you can do a bachelor's degree in, say, psychology or arts, and then go on to do a diploma or certificate in counselling, just to kind of get some counselling skills and understand the theory behind the counselling that you will be doing. Once you complete your studies, and that can be maybe 3 to 4 years of study, you can then start looking for jobs, but it may not be as easy to get a job straight away as a counsellor in an organisation. You might need to do some other roles such as case management or youth work, family services, that type of work, before you then find a role that is just primarily counselling. So it can be a bit of a more complicated path to get to a counselling role. And you're probably not going to be earning as much as a psychologist would be at that point. The other option to earn a bit more is to start your own practice. So you can start a private practice as a counsellor, but just keep in mind it does take a while to build up a clientele. You also have to get out there and find your referral sources. So it's not that easy to just kind of set yourself up as a counselling private practice and then start getting clients. Also, as a counsellor, you can't charge through Medicare for the most part, so you're not going to get clients who necessarily can't afford to just do private counselling at a higher rate. So that is something to really keep in mind. So in terms of how much you would actually earn as a psychologist or a counsellor, psychologists will generally be earning in the 6-figure range, depending on what type of psychology they're doing and what kind of work they're doing. Whereas a counsellor would generally earn from 60 to about 80,000, once again, depending on where they're working, the roles that they're in, And also, if you do end up running a private practice as a counsellor and you have a large clientele, you can obviously grow your earnings as well. So it really just depends where you end up finding work and where you continue to do your counselling. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all of my counselling tips and anything that might help you along in your journey.